Hello, me TBDs. Welcome back to my channel. Today it is March favorites. Crazy to think where we are in the world right now with what is going on. It's insane. Right now I'm currently working from home, trying to do, I don't know, phone therapy. It's a whole thing. It's very odd. And I definitely feel the lack of connection compared to like how many people I normally see in a day. I mean, I'm in a school, so I see kids and people all the time. Very weird working from home and not being able to go outside. But you know what? It is what it is. We're taking the precautions that we need to cut this thing where it is. I figured why not talk about some makeup today. Makeup helps make me feel a little bit better. So hopefully that does for you. So if you guys like monthly favorites, then give this video a thumbs up so I know and I can keep them coming for you. And don't forget to subscribe because I do upload every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So I don't have a ton of favorites, but I have some good ones. So the first favorite I want to mention is this Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. Now I am wearing the shade Fair Beige. I had the wrong shade, like the worst wrong shade ever that I already had. It was so dark for me, so I just never wore it. And I've actually been wearing this a ton now that I got the right shade. Actually, before my Ulta closed, I walked in like the day before it closed. Picked this up because I know that I really like the foundation formula and I really like how it wears on the skin, but I just never had the right shade for me. So I finally bit the bullet and bought another one, and I'm wearing it today. So it just gives such a nice, flawless matte finish to the skin. I'd say it's very comparable to the Kolk Full Cover foundation, except this is a little bit more serumy and like liquidy. The Kolk is a little bit thicker in formula, but in terms of the coverage that it gives you and the finish, I'd say they're both pretty similar, but I have been enjoying this a lot. Next is this e.l.f. Bite Size Mini Eyeshadow Palette in the shade Cream and Sugar. You guys, this shade right here, this one right here, this one, this is my favorite lid shade at the moment. I have been using this nonstop. I will put a little bit of bronzer in my crease and it's just like choking me. Put a little bit of bronzer in my crease and then I'll add this shade right on top on my lid. It is so beautiful. It's almost similar to the shade in the Kathleen Light So Jaded palette. It's the diamond shade that is like the Super Shock formula where it adds this like really pretty reflective sparkly type of topper. But when you first apply it, it is very metallic, and then throughout the day it actually fades a little bit to have this really nice topper or sparkly shade all over the lid. It's very pretty. My mom has mentioned multiple times, like, what are you wearing on your eyes? Because it's really pretty and it's always been this shade. So I think you could even just purchase this palette just for this shade alone. This shade is pretty good too, and then the bronze shade is great as well. I've just been really addicted to this shade right here to put all over the lid. Another favorite is, I'm actually wearing this right now. These are the new Revlon Super Lustrous Matte Lipsticks. I have the shade Wild Thoughts on right now, but then there's also the shade Pick Me Up, which both of these are amazing. This one's a little bit more nude, and then this one is the one that I have on my lips right now. I feel like this is a very pretty summer spring shade. The formula is so comfortable. It's matte and it lasts a long time on the lips, but it does not dry your lips out at all. Not sticky. I wouldn't say that it's not transfer proof because it definitely rubs off on like things that I'm drinking and stuff, but for a matte drugstore lipstick, I think you cannot go wrong with these. The formula is so good. I did not try the first formula, like the original one, but this formula that they just came out with is so good. Next, this is from, a lot of these are from the new products at the drugstore video that I uploaded, but this is the Makeup Revolution Highlighter Reloaded in the shade Just My Type. I use this pretty much every day. It is so unique and so flattering. It's almost subtle and intense at the same time. It's a very odd shade, but it's so pretty. I think it's super flattering on most skin tones. And if you're super fair, you can wear it too. So I've been just basically using this as my everyday highlight. This is the Sugargoop Daily Correct CC Cream. Now you guys just saw a video on this. I've been using it. I actually filmed that at the beginning of the month, and I've been using this every day as my everyday foundation, you guys. This is so good. I love this foundation. I love the finish. I love how it lasts on my skin. I love the coverage it gives me. I love that it has SPF in it. And I really like that it is more of a lightweight foundation that still pulls like a good medium coverage. It's not going to be matte all day long, but it does hold up really, really well. So you guys, I think this might have replaced my my CoverGirl CC cream, just in that it's my right shade and I never have to wear something super like, you know, tall on my neck to cover up the fact that it doesn't match my neck. This matches my neck. It's my right shade. It gives me everything that the CoverGirl BB cream gives me, and you get more product. But I mean, it is a little bit more expensive, you know, definitely more expensive than the CoverGirl BB cream, but I think it's really comparable. If you are fair like me and cannot find your shade in the CoverGirl one, I don't think you're going to be disappointed with this one. I just think it's such a great everyday foundation that, you know, if you're going to work, well, when we go back to work, or just when you're lounging around the house all day, this is a really good lightweight everyday foundation that I think is just like, I cannot stop using it. This is a favorite. Who also recently saw this video with the Urban Decay Stay Naked The Fix powder. In that video, I compared it to the Makeup Forever powder. I still think the Makeup Forever powder is better and it's worth your money more. Like, you get more product for what you're paying. But this is really good, especially because I've been home a lot and quarantined and this whole thing. I've not really been putting a ton of makeup on. And so I will take some concealer exactly like I did in the day 2 of that video, and I will apply this on top of the concealer and I'm good to go all day. It's like the fastest foundation routine ever. I don't know if I would repurchase this necessarily. I mean, I'm already like denting into the Urban Decay, you know, little imprint right there. So hopefully I don't go through this super fast. I'm gonna be bummed if I do. I really like it for like a lightweight everyday powder foundation. I'm all about the everyday thing, you know, like I just want something that I know is gonna not look super heavy, not super full coverage, but gives a little coverage to the skin and lasts all day and makes me matte throughout the day, you know? So I've been using this on top of concealer and using it, you know, I basically go between these two. I either use this one or I use this one. I'm not hating on it. It's really good and it shows because I'm using it every day. It's just kind of like my go-to powder foundation that is really, really quick and not a full face of like liquid foundation. That's it for the makeup favorites. Of course, I have my books here. The first one, I wouldn't say is like an ultimate favorite, okay? If you are in the mental health world and you're a therapist or a counselor or a social worker or whatever you are and you work, you know, you do therapy, this book has taken me 2 years to get through. I remember starting this, I was reading this on Chris and I's 4-month anniversary, even before that. And now we will be married 2 years in May. So it's taken me a long time to go through this book. This is called The Body Keeps the Score. It is a very trauma dense, very heavy book. Like, I took this chapter by chapter for forever, and then eventually I just stopped reading it because I'm like, I don't feel very good when I read this book. It gives some really good, interesting information about trauma and where, like, how it's stored in the body and what it affects and how to work with it. And towards the end of the book, you get like some really, the ones that I've, you know, like marked down like that, really good interventions and activities that you can do to help kind of work the trauma out and like work with trauma. It's a whole thing, but I'm just really proud that I got through it on Monday. This was like my first day of working from home and being quarantined and a whole thing. I'm not sick, by the way. I'm just saying quarantine because that's what people are referring to when you're, you know, staying home and stuff. I'm just really excited that I got through this book because it was Monday and I was like, I'm finishing this book. This is my opportunity. This is a sign that I need to finish this book or else I'm never gonna. So I sat down and I read like 200 pages and I was like, I'm getting through it. I'm proud of myself. And this is like a personal accomplishment for getting through this book. It is like reading a textbook, you guys. It's really a lot. And then I read this book. This is called Small Great Things by Jodi Picoult. I don't really know. This book has been out for a while, I think. This is the lady. Hello. It says a #1 New York Times best-selling author. So this book I actually got from Thrift Books. It's not sponsored or anything, but Thrift Books, you can get secondhand books for super cheap, which is great. Like $4 or $5 for a book that normally costs like 15 to 20. I get most of my books through there, but this Small Great Things book this was also a very heavy book to read. I was like, man, this was the month for heavy books. I don't know what I was doing myself. This book is about a nurse that ends up being in the room when a baby passes away, and the parents are trying to blame the nurse, that it's her fault that the baby passed away, when really it's all about the color of her skin. And then it walks through like the trial and everything that happens to this nurse because of it, and it's just a lot of heavy topics around race in it. And I think it's a really good book to read because it opens your eyes if you don't have to think about race every day because you're not a minority race. And I just thought it was very interesting and very gives me a lot of perspective around what I don't have to think about every day because of the color of my skin. I just think it does a really good job at explaining the perspective from a minority race and just some of the trials and some of the things that go on. And I would recommend it. It's a very, very good book, but again, it took me a while to get through, not 2 years, but it took me like maybe a week and a half to get through because it just was a very intense book, but it was a very good book. Yeah, so there you have it. Those are all of my favorites for March. Let me know what you guys have been loving down in the comments below. I love reading some of the things that you guys are enjoying throughout the month as well. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. I hope you had a wonderful day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.